Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is where you're joining me from. My name is Zoliswa Cheche. I am a transformation life coach, an inspirational speaker, and a published author. I call myself a mindset advocate, Ubabes Mindset, and I welcome you to Speak It with Zoliswa, where we get to talk about anything and everything that is mindset related. So today I thought I must just come in and talk about self-confidence. And I just got reminded about back in the day when I was younger, I could not stand in front of people openly and speak and say anything because I really felt very inferior. And there was a reason for that. There were a number of reasons, as a matter of fact. Firstly, when I grew up, I used to be teased by, among other people, my brother. And he used to call me ugly, and he had a name that I abhorred. He called me Bitlitli. I don't know what it means to this day, but when he said that name, I had a picture of a Bitlitli. I don't know what a Bitlitli is, but it was something that was just ugly and something that was unlookable, if I could use that word. And then other people, friends, got to know about this name, those friends that were closest to me. And when they just want to mock me, they would use that word. And so I started distancing myself from other people. And I then began, because I had been given this label, I accepted the label. I began to see certain things that were unlovable about me, certain things that were ugly about me, that got me to sink in and into a state of loneliness, into a state where I keep away from other people, or I would even go to the extent of trying to buy love from the peers. Like I would steal 50 cents from home so that I could buy them amagoinya, fat cakes, I could buy them sweets, just so that they could befriend me and they would love me. And of course, this stayed with me, and many times people would come and have the magoinya that I have bought for them, but they would still not like me. This had a huge impact on the confidence that I had in myself. Well, I found one area where I could just hibernate into, I could hide into, because maybe that would get people to recognize me in one way or the other, and that was the books. When I was still at school, I would read my books and memorize what is contained in the textbooks and set books in such a way that I could reproduce it and get good marks. And to the teachers then, I was liked, but to all the other people that were outside of my schooling system, that meant nothing. Self-confidence became a big issue in so many different aspects of my life. I remember when I went to university, and I knew that I had a lot to talk about. I loved speaking, but I did not have the willingness to speak on the basis that I did not know how. I never practiced, because the moment I opened my mouth and speak, then people would start teasing me. Oh, also, I did not have the front teeth when I grew up. From the age, I think from the age of 7, I didn't have front teeth because a whole lot of things were happening in this mouth, and I ended up not having the front teeth. And then that just gave me a label of where people were just laughing and I couldn't pronounce words properly. So I've always had a lisp. I don't know whether the lisp started as a result of me not having the front teeth and not being able to pronounce certain words properly, like S. And even my surname, Cheche, which was a huge problem back in the day, up until I got to university. And I wanted to be in the debate class, but I could not, because I just knew that the moment I open my mouth and I say something, people are just going to mock me. And I stayed away from a number of things that I wished I could do, only because I believed that I was not good enough to do those things. I just did not have confidence in myself. Strange enough, I had confidence in a whole lot of other people. For example, I would form part of a team where I know that a certain person, so and so, has got all of these skills and all of these attributes that I wish I could display. And therefore, if I am right behind them as a support system to them, I know that I will be in a winning team. So I had confidence in other people, and sometimes I would find myself in a space where I motivate other people that don't have confidence in themselves, and I go like, you can do this, go for it. But I could not use the same you can do it, go for it words when it comes to myself. Up until I started working on the inner management, the space of going within me and dealing with all of those the trash, the rubbish that is sitting there that made me not be confident and not believe in myself. Starting with the beliefs, I realized that first and foremost, I needed to understand who I am, because when I understand that I am actually a piece of source, I am a piece of the creator, I am created in the image of the source himself, itself, herself, and therefore I actually hold a position that is very elevated in society. I have dominion over a whole lot of things. I am more powerful. There is greatness in me. All of those things that I never really gave attention to earlier on, when I began to realize those things and embrace them, then my confidence increased. Then I started mocking my own self about the things that people used to laugh at me for or by. I started doing the laughing so that I could befriend those things. And then I realized that when I'm the one that says, oh, you're actually ugly, and I say that to myself in the mirror, at that stage, I made it easier for me that when somebody else says it, they are saying something that I have already said it. So I made these jokes, or I did these jokes first. It does not have that much of an impact that is hurtful anymore because I have said it myself. So this was a process before I understood that I actually had to change the story I tell myself about myself, so that the things that I look at will then begin to change. So when I moved over to changing the story I tell myself by accepting myself as I am, acknowledging those things that I first regarded as negative, acknowledging that they are part and parcel of who I am and they are shaping me, and instead of having them in front of me as a huge barrier that make it difficult for me to see what is on the other side, I could walk on top of them, step on top of all of those things and be elevated. So today I speak and I still have a lisp. I still have a whole lot of, I still have the ugliness that people used to say I have, but I don't see it because I have changed the story I tell myself about myself. I still have the fear of speaking at times, but the fear is now behind me. I have put the fear behind me and said, I'm going to use it as an enabler to propel me to move forward, because the focus that I would like to see and place in front of me is the message that is sitting in front of me, is the message that has been placed inside of me that I wish and I have a burning desire to share with the other people. So the whole space of self-confidence has to do with you finding, one, who are you? Two, what is placed inside of you? Three, what are the advantages that you can focus on? Because everybody does have something in their proverbial hand. I may not be able to speak the best English. I did not go to what was called the Model C schools, for example. I went to Thamsanqa Senior Secondary School. I went to Vista University in Zwide. I learned how to speak English and construct good sentences, I think in the workplace, after I had even graduated with my first degree at least. So I started to learn all of the things that I can say I am standing in front of you and sharing with you now, as I went on and applied the little bit that I have. So why am I raising these things with you today? Because self-confidence or a lack of self-confidence becomes a big issue that happens to serve as a barrier in people's lives from progressing and going forward, because the lack of self-confidence creates some kind of a fear in you to take a step on the basis that what are other people going to say. The confidence that you have in you is lacking. It is this small in such a way that you place yourself right at the bottom and everyone else is at a higher elevated state than who you are. What if you were to just look within you and find out what it is that you could focus on? It doesn't mean that the fear is not there. It doesn't mean that the lack of self-confidence is not there, but your focus should be zoomed, and you should just look into that which is serving to you at the time. It's more like you have this one weapon, you are going to war, you are carrying this one stick, if it is a stick or whatever little weapon that you have, and you're saying that I'm going to rely on this little stick because it is the only thing that I'm going to have. And I do know that there are a whole lot of other potential weapons that can come my way then, but this is all that I have, and this is what I choose to believe in, that it is going to carry me forward. Where you look, where you give your attention, the universe understands as your intention, and it's in all its generosity, it is in all its diligence and its loyalty to you. It gives you more and more of that. It actually allows that to expand and grow and spiral upwards. That is the story of what has happened in my own life to develop self-confidence. Today, I'm able to stand in front of people from different corners of the world and say what I wish to say, regardless of the issue of the language, regardless of the issue of the speech defect that I have, regardless of the issue of the looks that I have or do not have. But I am holding on to the fact that there is a message that is placed in me. There is a source and an energy that resides only in me, and no one else can permeate my message the same way as I do. I am authentically me, and I give of myself in any situation because everybody else is taken. I'm not trying to copy anyone. If I were to try and copy anybody else, I would suck at it. But whenever I express Zoliswa Tshetshe, then I am the best Zoliswa Tshetshe that can ever be, because I am not acting out the Zoliswa Tshetshe, but I'm actually being the person that I am. So I'm basically doing by way of expressing the authentic being that I am. And the question that I have for you today is, who are you? If you have no confidence in yourself, who is it that you don't have confidence in? You have forgotten who you are made of, who you are born of, who you are created by. You are a piece of a higher power. You are created in the image of the universal power. Therefore, you need to recognize that in the midst of everything else. And I'm not saying that everything else doesn't exist in your reality, because maybe you have chosen to focus on that reality. But I'm saying out of all of this reality, just choose one laser beam area where you can focus into. Hold on to that as you're about to go to that interview post-COVID-19, as you're about to go and ask for somebody to partner with you in terms of business, as you're about to go for the presentation for the tender that you have submitted, as you're about to go and approach someone for a relationship, as you're about to go and ask someone for directions, hold on to the confidence in the self that you are, because you are the unique self that you are, and nobody else can ever take the place of who you are in the universe. I thought I must just come in and say, self-confidence resides right inside of you. Inner management will assist you to go within and look at the different areas within your life, within your mind, as to where have you stored some destructive beliefs about who you are that have led to you not having the confidence that you should have in yourself. My name is Zoliswa Tshetshe. As I said, I'm a transformational coach. If you wish to work with me in terms of building and boosting your self-confidence, make contact with me for a complimentary 30-minute session, and let us see if we can find a way of partnering. If there is rapport between the two of us, then we will partner together, working on getting you to be where you should be. A combination of coaching and mentoring, especially because I've gone through that journey. Whoever you are, whatever level of any aspect of your life that you're at, if you feel that it feels as if I'm stuck in this one, it feels as if I'm lacking confidence that I could actually move to the next step, make contact with me. Let us work together. This life is meant to be lived by you. It is the best life that you can ever have if you believe in yourself. Self-confidence is available to you. Have a good day.